Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to No Final Bell. Usually I have Marty with me, but this week he was not able to, as he didn't have enough time to watch any of the other recordings for like Impact and Dynamite and stuff like that. So he wouldn't be able to, fortunately, be able to contribute much to this episode. So it's just going to be me this week. And we're going to just talk about Dynamite and Collision. We are also a little bit of Rampage too. A match that probably could have very well have been on Collision or Dynamite, but they put it on Rampage as the very first match. But we are going to be talking about, congratulations. We're going to talk about it, but we do have a longest reigning AEW World Champion, and kind of knew it was going to be coming. But speaking of MJ, that man. MJF faces off against Juice Robinson for the Dynamite Dozen ring, and it was a pretty brutal contest. I mean, Juice Robinson got bloodied up. These two men went after each other. You definitely could tell that Juice Robinson wanted to win. He wanted to win that ring, but fortunately fell short as MJF beats Juice Robinson to once again be the Dynamite Dozen ring winner, which honestly, I don't know how I feel. I mean, he's won it 5 years in a row. You are the world heavyweight champion. I just don't think that you should hold the ring as on top of being the world heavyweight champion. Juice Robinson, I feel like, would have deserved it more, but this is a ring that's just cemented to MJF, and I know that that's their star. That's the guy they want to ride with into the future. So he's going to be somebody that is going to push AEW to the next level, and grateful that MJF has been a homegrown talent. He has literally went from being, first on the card and all in, and back when the show first started till now he's in main eventing. He is the AEW World Champion. He has done everything that AEW has asked of him, and he's took the ball and he's run. He's been a hell of a talent. Honestly, I am grateful to say that it feels weird to be booing him to cheering him now. I mean, AEW is in a good spot, and I think that MJF is definitely the best guy that can be the world champion right now. I've stated it here before that I would love to see Jay White win the championship. I think that is the Switchblade era, but the thing is that with Jay White and everything, yeah, Bullet Club is on their, on the way up, and they're looking good. But the thing is that there's just so many guys that are wanting to gun after MJF for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I think it makes a strong case that MJF should retain at Full Gear and face off against, the likes of Samoa Joe, Wardlow. We'll talk about it later on. He faced off against Kenny Omega. But you got guys gunning for him. And then I just think that even Powerhouse Hobbs is now in that equation. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But there's just so many guys gunning after MJF. And I just think that MJF should retain at Full Gear. Plus, you got World's End, which is a new pay-per-view that's going to be coming out in December. World's End, it's going to be in Long Island, the very first AEW pay-per-view in New York, by the way. So I really do think that you should hold the championship, face off against all these opponents, and ultimately, I really do think, and Marty and I would have been talking about this together and debated about it, but I really do think that Adam Cole's got to be the one that's going to be ultimately taking the title off of MJF and ending the whole friends, thing going on between then the broskies and whatnot. So I really do think that eventually Adam Cole is going to turn heel, win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and align himself with the Kingdom and Roderick Strong. So, and you're going to have that Kingdom faction, and I just think that it makes sense because he used to be in the Kingdom in ROH. And then after the match, He gets beaten down by the Guns, and then the Kingdom and Roderick Strong come down to even the odds as the Kingdom and the Guns beat each other down. And then Guns hold MJF while Juice Robinson is going to hit him, and then MJF spits in the face of Jay White, and then out comes the Acclaimed to Daddy Ass. And then Bullet Club retreat, and then MJF will put the ROH World Tag Team titles on the line against the Guns, as well as the World title on the line against Jay White. And later tonight in the main event, it will be Bullet Club Gold against MJF and 3 partners of his choosing thoughts. It'll be interesting to see who is those 3 partners of his. I really do think that he could go with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom just because of the storyline, how Roderick and MJF are both friends of Adam Cole and the whole storyline that's going on with that. I think it makes more sense that they are his 3 partners. But then again, it could be the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. I think it's going to be, out there. I really do think it's going to be, I think it's going to be Roderick Strong and the Kingdom that are going to team up with MJF. And I don't care if Roderick Strong got the neck issue and all the other stuff. He's going to go out there and wrestle. We all know it's, storyline, neck issues, neck strong, stuff like that. I just don't see it being the Acclaim and Daddy Ass just because of everything that's been going on. But then again, I mean, we could be shocked, we could be swerved, we could be anything that's going to happen, honestly, during this match. And I think that MJF is going to choose his 3 partners, surprisingly, and then we're going to be like, okay, I guess it makes sense for the terms of everything like that. I just think that it's going to be Roderick Strong in the Kingdom because, they're both, because MJF has been stating all along that, I think that he needs to bring in Roderick Strong as a friend, and stuff like that. So I just think that that's going to happen a little bit more than the Acclaim of Daddy Ass or Samoa Joe and like 2 other guys you're not expecting at all. I just think that it makes more sense in this itself. So, and then speaking of a guy that is looking to go after MJF, Wardlow claims that he will take everything away from MJF. Thoughts? Honestly, I think that ultimately what I would like to see here is Wardlow and MJF facing off at World's End in Long Island, New York for the AEW World Championship. Of course, I can see MJF retaining against Wardlow. I don't think Wardlow is going to beat MJF. I don't think he's a world champion. I don't think he's, again, it sucks that he's been like a multiple time TNT champion. And I think that's the only title that he's ever really going to win because I hate to say it, as much as I love Wardlow, he doesn't scream world champion to me at all. Just because he can't put together really good matches at all. I mean, he's all right in the ring. I think he adds more aspects. We've seen good things out of Wardlow, but the problem is that you don't really see that in the matches. You see the Powerbomb Symphony. You see him beating up these, jobbers in a way. And it just, to me, Wardlow can maybe have a good match against MJF. MJF does put together some pretty good damn matches against whoever he faces off against. But the thing is that it's either you have Wardlow face off against MJF before a pay-per-view, or you have MJF and Samoa Joe at Long Island, New York yet again, because they did face off in Queens for the AEW World Championship. What better to have it at World's End in Long Island, New York, which, again, MJF is from the state of New York. The famous Nassau Coliseum is going to be the home of World's End in December. And then we're also going to have ROH Final Battle as well. So we're going to have technically 2 AEW ROH type pay-per-views in December. So definitely look forward to that on this show to talk about. But again, I don't think Wardlow is going to take everything away from MJF. I think he's going to beat him down, and it's going to be interesting, but I don't think he's going to take everything away from him. Next one, we get to see RVD back in Philadelphia, and he teamed up with Taz's son Hook, which, by the way, back in the day, RVD and Taz actually teamed up in ECW back in the day. So time afterwards, now you get to see RVD teaming up with Hook to take on Alex Reynolds and John Silver. and yes, ultimately do beat Alex Reynolds and John Silver, even though Alex Reynolds and John Silver, I'm grateful that they're getting opportunities, that Dark Order is getting opportunities, but the thing is that the Dark Order should have been getting opportunities a long, long time ago when the Exalted one was still alive. So, I mean, ultimately, I would love they did get an opportunity at the World Trios Tag Team titles with Evil Uno, but honestly, I would like for Alex Reynolds and John Silver to possibly get a shot at the World Tag Team titles. I think that it would be something cool. It would fresh up the tag team division because it just seems like it's FTR and Young Bucks, FTR and Young Bucks, FTR and Young Bucks. How about you give John Silver and Alex Reynolds the tag team titles? I get it right now with Big Bill and Ricky Starks. But what about Alex Reynolds and John Silver? These two men have been great as a tag team and nowhere close to even getting those tag team titles. So again, I think that the tag team division needs to strengthen up a little bit more and freshen it up. For God's sake, you have the Hardys that could be going after the World Tag Team titles. I understand with everything with Jeff in this situation, but again, before they retire, at least give the Hardys tag team gold one last time before they ride it out to the sunset, please. I mean, but RVD and Hook did look good in this match, and RVD can still go, man. It's crazy. WWE really effed up on his situation. I get it. Concussion, neck issues, and all the other stuff. They really want to protect their superstars. But the thing is, with RVD, he's a hell of a wrestler, hell of a talent. Probably hence why WWE really doesn't want to go with him, can't utilize him very well. He's not really a big character. RVD is a hell of a wrestler and somebody that I think AEW should just sign him. I mean, I get it. He doesn't really want to sign. He's just there for certain dates. But I think that Tony Khan needs to hit the ball running and sign RVD. I mean, even if he's like per appearance kind of guy, I think he's a hell of a talent to have on your show. And he can still wrestle. Next out come Darby Allin and Sting. And Sting does thank Darby Allin and Tony Khan in the city of Philly. The fans chant, "Thank you, Sting." And a special gift comes out, and it ends up being, woo! And a nature boy, Ric Flair, as he hugs Sting and Tony Schiavone. And the fans chant, "Holy shit," because they did not expect Ric Flair, of all people, to show up on AEW television. Somebody that has been synonymous with WCW, with WWE, with NWA, you never seen him on AEW television before. And talks about how 35 years ago he and Sting wrestled at the first Clash of Champions and went 55 minutes, and states then or today that's hard to do. Yeah, I'm sure it is very hard to go 55 minutes in that wrestling ring, no matter if you're young, old, or anything like that. Sting never took a deep breath and lived up to it, and is the nicest guy ever and wants to ride it out with Sting until the end. And gives Sting a chop, and then out comes Christian Cage with Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. Christian Cage says Tony Khan is a billionaire, and this is the gift that he gives Sting to retirement. So he basically gave Sting a suit, some chains, and a black liver. Great gift. Says he is impressed with how well Rick is walking, that you can't even see the puppet strings at all. Says relax, people, and knows that Rick ain't dead. And says there is a God, he says there isn't a God, because if there was a God, Ric Flair would have been dead 10, 20 years ago. Man, I tell you what, Christian Cage, I think he's just so great as a heel, and I know that you wouldn't want to hear that at all, and I shouldn't be saying that, but it just, the way that he presents himself in his promos and everything like that, it just, WWE really dropped the ball on him, and it sucks, it really does. But I'm grateful that AEW is giving him the opportunity to shine out there, because man, his promo work and his and he can back up his talk. He really can. He's a hell of a wrestler in the ring, and he can really back up his talk on the mic as well. The real reason he is out there is because last week Sting and Darby Allin decided to stick their nose in his business yet again, and that's House Darby's arm is. And then that he still has some sour grapes that he beat him at Wrestle Dream in his hometown, which probably does. It says he will give Darby Allin one more chance, something the Philly is going to get done either. And look at something you will never be as a champion. Now the situation won't be over till Christian Cage makes it go away. So this is his proposition to them. And Sting has this dream to make it to Revolution because he started there in 2021. Got this beautiful picture you painted for yourself, but Christian Cage sees it a little bit differently and doesn't want to wait till Revolution to see Sting gone and wants him gone right now and says there are 3 of us and 2 of you and Ric Flair, and you can have him as a partner. But he is one super kick away from his pacemaker kicking the dust. Crazy to talk about. I mean, because he's old as dirt. I hate to say it, but again, great promo work. I mean, it's just what you're gonna expect from Christian Cage. I hate to say it. I know that's probably not something he should be saying on the mic, but it's Christian Cage. He doesn't care. Get that man a mic and no script. He's going to take the ball and run. And at Full Gear, get yourselves a partner because your retirement will come early and there won't be a celebration. It will be more like a funeral. And then Sting sneezes because he's allergic to jackasses. Says, first of all, him and Darby will find a partner. Second of all, we accept your challenge. Thoughts? So I hate to say it, as much as Adam Cole does not want the face-off against Christian Cage, it's going to happen. He's going to be their partner. He's going to face off against Christian Cage, Sting, and Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne, and they're going to have a hell of a 6-man tag team match at Full Gear, and I think it makes sense. And then I think that ultimately you're going to see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage face off for the TNT Championship soon. And who's to say it can't be at a World's End or something like that? Because I think that ultimately the end goal is that you're going to see Christian Cage and Adam Copeland face off against each other for the TNT Championship. Or maybe you can see Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus turning on Christian Cage here, and then Adam Copeland and Christian Cage team up. I don't know. See, this is the thing I love about AEW. You don't exactly know what direction they're going to go with until it happens. So it could be either or. So Chris Jericho is next and has a sit down with Renee and states in 33 years he doesn't ever remember having a beatdown like he did from Powerhouse Hobbs, and is still feeling it. His ribs still hurting after 7 or 8 consecutive spine busters and 3 most dangerous slams. It says what is hurting most of all is probably his ego. Gets asked, has there been a lot of self-reflection to see what's left? And there being so many versions of Chris Jericho, and with everything Chris Jericho has had, a lot of self-confidence in himself and knowing on any given night he can be anyone. And last week he didn't see it coming and asked does he still have what it takes to beat a Will Hobbs, and wonders if it's time to step back a little bit, or is it time to get even stronger and more intense in self-confidence, knowing that he is Chris effing Jericho. And is it time to get some sort of revenge? And Don Callis has a lot on his family and a lot of friends, and Chris Jericho has a lot of friends as well. And some of those friends are even bigger than Will Hobbs, and maybe it's time to give them a call. Thoughts? I have no exact I have no idea who Chris Jericho could be talking about, what kind of friends he's talking about. The only one I can think of is Paul White, somebody that's bigger, stronger than Will Hobbs. But other than that, I have no idea who else he could be talking about. I mean, I guess we'll have to find out who exactly he's talking about as his friends that are bigger and stronger than Will Hobbs, but I think that maybe one of them could be Paul White, even though he hasn't been in the ring as of late, but he's bigger, stronger, and taller than Will Hobbs, so I would think that he's probably one of them, and they have a close relationship. I mean, for God's sake, they used to be tag team partners together, and I think they have a strong relationship together, but honestly, other than that, I have no idea who else could be going after the Don Callis family with Chris Jericho. So I guess we'll have to find out. The next match is for the ROH 6-man championships. as the Elite face off against Hardys and Brother Say. And man, I tell you what, I was really rooting for the Hardys and Brother Say. They just have it going together. I mean, I hope that eventually they can get the World Trios Tag Team titles, if not the 6-man tag team titles eventually. But it just, man, the Hardys have been looking good. Brother Say has been looking good. They have chemistry together. I mean, for God's sake, that Matt Hardy and Brother Say were together way before the Hardys got back together in AEW. But the Elite, unfortunately, get the job done and beat the Hardys and Brother Say to retain the ROH World 6-man Tag Team Championships. And then Swerve Strickland is at Hangman Adam Page's house and by his kid's crib and leaves a shirt for his son. Thoughts? This is getting personal. This is going to continue. It's getting personal. These two men are going to have some kind of gimmick match, I feel like, at Full Gear. Because this rivalry, just the way that it's going, it's not over with. But I think Swerve Strickland took it a little too far by going to Adam Hangman Page's house and leaving that shirt by his son's crib. It's just crazy to think about. But honestly, I'm ready to see what's going to continue on with this. I think this is getting personal. It's really going to get Hangman Page to a different level, to a different aggressive side against Swerve Strickland, because, you know, Swerve Strickland, we already know that he beat Adam Hangman Page at Wrestle Dream, but I think that Adam Hangman Page is going to get the second ball, and maybe this could go all the way to World's End, because, you know, each man is going to get a one-up on each other, or could this be a 2 out of 3 falls match, where, you know, Adam Hangman Page has to beat him twice to prove, that he can be able to get the one-up on him. So we'll see. Speaking of this, Sting and Darby are trying to recruit Adam Copeland to be their partner and get with the program's thoughts. Yes, Adam Copeland needs to understand that, he's not going to get Christian Cage, that he cannot, run away from not fighting him forever, that he's got to fight Christian Cage to be able to get him on the side. He has to understand that if you're going to be here, you got to get with the program. You got to, put personal emotions aside and be able to beat your best friends, because, Darby didn't want to, chip Nick Wayne's tooth, but it happened. Sting didn't want to have to do things that he did in the past, but had to do them. And the same thing has to happen with Adam Copeland. He's got to put his personal feelings aside for Christian Cage and be able to attack him here at Full Gear. And I think that this is exactly what needs to happen. And I think Adam Copeland is going to be their partner heading into Full Gear, because Sting really got in the face of Adam Copeland. And Sting, he wants to see that fire out of Adam Copeland, and I think everybody does. Everybody wants to see that fire out of Adam Copeland. We want to see an aggressive side out of Adam Copeland. We need to see the pro wrestling side of Adam Copeland, not the sports entertainment side. We need to see the pro wrestling side of Adam Copeland, and I hope this happens at Full Gear. So Hikaru Shida and Ruby Soho face off for the AEW World Championship. Of course, Ruby Soho waiting to get the opportunity to face off against Hikaru Shida. Actually, no. It was Abaddon, but on Rampage. But Hikaru Shida faces off against Ruby Soho. She actually puts the title on the line twice in 1 week. That's how great, Hikaru Shida has been. But, she beats Ruby Soho to retain the AEW World Championship, and now we will see her face off against Toni Storm at Full Gear. Toni Storm is, gonna show up every single time that Hikaru Shida retains until she gets her opportunity at Full Gear. So ultimately, I think we're gonna get to see Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida face off at Full Gear for the AEW World Championship, and why not? Toni Storm has got the fans over with her new gimmick, and why not give her an opportunity at the AEW World Championship? I get it. We've already seen her face off for the championship before, but why not, get opportunity to get it back at Full Gear? Samoa Joe wants to be MJF's friend under one condition, that he gets his rematch for the World Championship. Thoughts? Ultimately, so we now know that the ROH World Tag Team titles will be on the line at Full Gear. It's probably going to be one of the very first matches, if so. And I ultimately think that Samoa Joe is going to be MJF's partner as long as he gets the opportunity at the world title. And it could happen like a couple weeks after Full Gear if they, retain. I think that ultimately that they're going to retain the tag team titles. As much as I would like to see the Guns probably take that, as much as I would like to see the Bullet Club Gold take everything away from MJF, I just don't know if that's going to exactly happen, because I thought that maybe it was going to start with Juice Robinson getting the ring, but it did not. So ultimately, I think that they're going to team up, put those ROH World Tag Team titles on the line against the Guns, and yeah, Samoa Joe is going to get his opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship. So yes, this was a brutal match. Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli against Orange Cassidy and Kazuchika Okada. Kazuchika Okada, hit the Rainmaker on Bryan Danielson, and then, Orange Cassidy hit the Orange Punch on Bryan Danielson, and this looked like he popped him good for real. And then Kazuchika Okada gave him the Rainmaker afterwards. And then, Bryan suffered an injury during the match. It was a broken orbital bone, and it's crazy to think about what's going on. Bryan Danielson, unfortunately, this is the second time he's gotten hurt in a match that Okada was a part of. So I mean, as much as Bryan Danielson really wants to be able to, ride a momentum train and head on, this is the second time he's gotten hurt. He had a broken arm. Now he has a broken orbital socket. It just, as much as I want to see Bryan Danielson really do it, if you're going to keep on getting hurt, I just think that it might be time for you to just hang up your boots early. I hate to say it. Bryan Danielson is a hell of a wrestler, and I got, had the opportunity to see him live, and got to see that Okada Bryan Danielson match live in full in Forbidden Door, and it was great. It was a great match. These two men put it, this was a great tag team match itself. But I'm just grateful that Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson got the victory, but it came at a cost, unfortunately, in our main event. But yeah, Orange Cassidy and Okada, man, looked good, and unfortunately did not get the win. Now this is the only match I'm going to talk about with Rampage. Mike Santana and Ortiz, man, this was a no disqualification match. Weapons were used and everything like that. I think that this match could have easily have been on Collision or Rampage, and it really should have been. But honestly, to be the first match of Rampage, it was a great match. I mean, it's really getting people to try to stay longer and see Rampage. But man, Mike Santana and Ortiz battled each other, and they were stiffing each other pretty good with those slaps to the face. Table spot and everything like that. We got to see some crazy stuff out of these two men. These two men had a brutal, and then Mike Santana does beat Ortiz. Mike Santana is trying to fist bump Ortiz, and Ortiz is like, no. It seemed like his ego was shattered just a little bit after that match, but I think this match definitely had to happen. As much as I would have loved to have seen it happen at like a pay-per-view, I guess it's all right that it happened on Rampage itself. But yes, Mike Santana, man, I'm hoping that they can ride a momentum train, but it sucks that they're being shown on Rampage. It sucks that they're no longer a tag team, that they can't work together anymore, but at least they put together a hell of a match. Speaking of a decent match, AR Fox and Jay White. AR Fox is a very underrated wrestler. He really is. I just love the opportunities and just the overall wrestler he is in the ring. I think that he needs to get more opportunities as a single competitor. But Jay White is just great. I mean, he looked like he was just out there. He just looked like he was getting beaten around by AR Fox most of that match. But Jay White, Jay White is undefeated as a singles competitor. He's going to ride the momentum high heading into Full Gear. I don't see him losing anytime soon. But after the match, MJF was trying to steal his title back. He dressed up and everything and failed. He couldn't get his title back. But yes, Jay White does get the victory over AR Fox. But MJF was very unsuccessful of getting a title back. He looks like he didn't want to compete in that 6-man or the 8-man tag team match, I should say, not 6-man, 8-man tag team match. There, but yeah, unfortunately he failed, and he's just gonna have to find three partners. And I know one of them would love to have is Adam Cole, but unfortunately he's not gonna have Adam Cole with him. This one, there's not really much to say. The Guns beat the Boys. The Boys definitely had a very good effort, but the Guns were just too much for them. Hikaru Shida faces off against Abaddon for the AEW World Championship. Abaddon, man, I tell you what, she's really turned it around. She definitely was scary as all hell in this match, and she was really trying, to do everything she can to get the victory here. I mean, going underneath the ring, brutal with the trash can lid and everything like that. And honestly, I don't know what the hell Hikaru Shida was trying to do. She grabbed the broom and kind of looked like she was trying to be like a witch off the top rope. So I don't know what you were doing there, Hikaru Shida, but you've just been a workhorse ever since you've won the AEW Women's Championship back. So I'm grateful for that. And she's going to be putting it on the line again later tonight as well. So, but yes, she does beat Abaddon to retain the AEW World Championship, but Abaddon definitely put a valiant effort aboard, and I think that if she can really show that more, I think that Tony Khan should utilize her more in the women's division. I get it, her gimmick and everything like that doesn't appeal to a lot of people, but honestly, I think she looked good on Collision. So yeah, Samoa Joe faces Rhett Titus for the ROH World Television Championship. Rhett Titus is a former World Television Champion, and of course, if you've watched Grimm, you know about Rhett Titus being on there and everything like that. So I know a little bit of Rhett Titus just from that, but Samoa Joe, which is too much. I mean, he's really riding the momentum train. He wants to try to, win all these matches to get his opportunity at the AEW World Championship, and he's not going to quit until that happens. But yes, he does beat Rhett Titus to retain the ROH World Television Championship. So Claudio Castagnoli wants to get revenge for his fallen comrade later tonight against Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. I would love to see Claudio win it, honestly. I mean, he was a great ROH World Champion. I think he could be an even better international champion, but this is going to be a good match between Orange Cassidy and Claudio Castagnoli. Hate to say, I hope Orange Cassidy is ready because Claudio is going to go at him. He's going to beat him down. He's going to brutalize him. He's going to do everything in his power to kick his ass in this match. Yeah, and actually, he did face off in the match too, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, I think Orange Cassidy better watch what is going to be getting thrown at him, because if he's going to want to retain the international championship, he's got to watch out for Claudio Castagnoli. But he does want to face off against Okada either in the States or Japan. Thought that would be awesome. Maybe Forbidden Door next year, Claudio Castagnoli and Okada. That would be great. I think that would be a hell of a match. Whether it's in the States or Japan, honestly, I think it's going to be a great match, and I would like to watch it either way. Ricky Starks faces off against Dax Harwood. Dax Harwood was, having a valiant effort out there, but fortunately, Ricky Starks was too much for him. And after the match, the House of Black, which actually were out beforehand, before the match, House of Black did show up. They were in a crowd, and you just didn't see it coming. You thought maybe they were really going to get kind of involved maybe during the match, but didn't happen. But Ricky Starks does beat Dax Harwood, and after the match, the House of Black are in the ring, and LFI are back to beat down the House of Black. It was nice to see LFI back, honestly. Roosh and everybody else, Drew Listigo and Preston Vance, yes. So that's LFI, and they're back to bring a vengeance on the House of Black, and honestly, I'm all for it. I don't know what's exactly going to be happening with all these teams. I would love to see Stadium Stampede between LFI, LFI and FTR against House of Black and Ricky Starks and Big Bill. I think that would be awesome. I mean, if you're a big football fan, you were seeing, when the Chargers were playing, Kia Forum is literally right next to SoFi Stadium. If Tony Khan, who is part owner of the Jags, can strike a deal with the Chargers and Rams owners to be able to get SoFi Stadium for that, that'd be awesome. I think it would be a great, opportunity. I get it, you would probably have to get the stadium ready for a game Sunday, but if they can get Stadium Stampede, that would be sick. I don't know if both teams have got a bye that week at all. I would have to check and see. But I'm all for maybe like a Stadium Stampede between those two factions and whatnot going after each other heading into Full Gear. It would be a great match. But ultimately, I mean, we've already had Stadium Stampede for All In, and we've had Anarchy in the Arena. But again, I would like to see something. Maybe Anarchy in the Arena in Kia Forum. And if not that, Stadium Stampede at SoFi Stadium. I think that would be sick. Of course, I might be asking for too much, but hey, it's a match to book for Full Gear either way. So yes, in the back, Sky Blue says anything that has to be said between her and Julia are between them thoughts. You can definitely see that there's more of a darkness between Willow Nightingale and Julia Hart, but Sky Blue seems to be a little bit more far gone than Willow Nightingale, and it looks like that eventually Sky Blue is going to join up with Julia Hart and maybe have like a tag team of some sorts with the House of Black, so we'll definitely have to see what's going to go on with that. There's not much about this next match to talk about. Claudio Castagnoli beats Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, but man, he beat the living crap out of him. I hope Hot Sauce Tracy Williams was ready for that complete beatdown, because man, Claudio Castagnoli and Tracy Williams got his ass beat, but Claudio beats him. And then we get onto our main event. MJF faces off against Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship, and man, Kenny Omega brought it to MJF. Threw everything at him. Was trying to get the one-winged angel, didn't happen. Got the couple feed triggers, had a nice little spot there. MJF. We got to see a little bit more out of MJF. He did a little flippy do out of the ring, kind of like a springboard out of the ring move that we usually don't see out of him, but it was all right, because guess what? We got to see a dive out of him on Dynamite, which I forgot to talk about. So man, if we can see more of this from MJF, that'd be great. And then did the kangaroo kick, the Kenny Omega. I mean, these two men had a hell of a match of the ages, and there's a reason why Kenny Omega is the best belt machine. But MJF was able to do it, and as part of this video, he is now the longest reigning AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations to MJF. You deserve it, man. You really do. You've been a hell of an AEW World Champion, and I never would have thought that in your time that you would ever get there, but you've gotten there. You've rode the momentum trade. You've been a hell of a AEW World Champion, and I'm grateful to say that I hope you keep the ball running, and you keep it to you keep it at the top, man. Ultimately, you're going to keep that title for a while there, but ultimately, do know that once Adam Cole is back, unfortunately, I think Adam Cole is going to beat you for the AEW World Championship. I would love to see you get it to 365 days, 1 year of being champion, and that's going to be at Full Gear. You're going to be 365. You're going to be even more than that, because I think that you're going to beat either Samoa Joe or Wardlow at World's End. And then once Adam Cole is back from the ankle surgery and everything like that, I think that ultimately that's the man that's going to beat you for the AEW World Championship. And ultimately, I think that maybe the Kingdom are going to beat them for the AEW tag team titles, if not at Full Gear. I think that he's probably going to be losing them eventually, and I think that MJF is going to just start off refresh. He could go after the International Championship, could go after the TNT Championship, or maybe team up with somebody and go after the AEW Tag Team titles. So there's a lot of possibilities for MJF, but I mean, he's just been a hell of a world champion. I mean, I get it. And once he loses, like, just what you do with him afterwards, I think that you just keep the ball running. I think that you just give him like a Jon Moxley type of situation where he goes after the international championship and hold that title for a while there. But so this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Thank you for riding with me. I know it's, hate to do these episodes by myself, but I think that we did a pretty good job with it. Make sure to follow us on social media at Tinkle Sports. Of course, over here is the YouTube channel at Tinkle Sports Entertainment. This week, we're probably not going to have it on Facebook Watch, to be truthfully honest with you. If we do, that'd be cool. But also, we have No Final Bell every Wednesday, typically every Wednesday at 5. I turn 4 every Tuesday at 5, but it's going to be heading to a hiatus very soon. And then we also have Sunday Morning Tinkle every Sunday at 9. Thank you for watching. I'd like to see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.